by the compiler, but rather things that the community writing that programming language has agreed should be true to communicate effectively in the language. A good example of this is the casing of a language. Is the language conventionally snake-cased or camel-cased? Snake case puts an underscore between words and variable names, whereas camel case capitalizes the first letter of each word in the name. Python uses a mix of these things, so let's talk about how they're used. When you're defining a class in Python, you could use snake case, but camel case is what's considered Pythonic. Pythonic is the word that we use to mean what a Pythonista would expect to see in your programming, and what the original designers of the language might have intended or hoped for you to use. So, big camel case is considered Pythonic for classes. Big camel case means that all of the first letters are capitalized, including the first word, as you can see here. Function definitions in Python work a little differently. You can do camel case for a function definition in Python, but snake case is considered Pythonic. You'll notice here that in our definition of this function, we're using little camel case, which is different from big camel case insofar as that the very first word isn't capitalized. Now for variable definitions in Python, technically you could use little camel case just like you could do for a function, but using snake case is considered Pythonic. Now we have little letters here. That's for your typical naming a variable in Python. But if you want to name a constant, that is a variable that you expect will never change, it's conventional to name it in all caps like this. You could call this big snake case. That signals that the variable shouldn't change, because even though there's nothing in the interpreter forcing it to never change, this way other programmers will know that you intended this variable to stay the same throughout its life.